Hey guys, Bill Soriano here from Pittsburgh, and I'm doing the weekly recap, right, for the week beginning March 31st, 2025, right? So this past week here, it's right now Friday, April 4th. So this is the recap for the week of March 31st. And this is again using my damn near 100% objective 4-hour supply and demand zone trade plan. Okay. I have the free PDF for you right here. Gives you all the instructions, how to use the two indicators to determine the trend and get the best supply or demand zone to trade from on the 4-hour, what to do once price drops down to the 1-hour, how to look to enter the trades. Here's the video here. And here's another video here. You just click on the images, right? Then, of course, this is absolutely free, but you have to actually do it, right? You have to learn this strategy and then you have to do it. You have to go on the charts about 30 minutes to an hour every day, probably more like 30 minutes, but you have to spend some time every week setting up your charts, setting your alerts, drawing out your zones, drawing your fib, setting your limit orders. And again, you want to trade this on demo. That's what I'm doing, guys. I'm trading this on demo. Okay. And so if you want something that's more done for you, the company that we're with, the educators and the lead trainers in the company send out trade ideas right to an app on your phone. This is a membership-based program, so you have to pay a monthly fee for it. But here's a video right here. If you click on it on how you get the trade ideas sent to your phone. And if you're interested in joining the company, there's a video right here. If you click on this image showing you what you'll get and how much it costs. If you need to contact me, my information is right down here, okay, in the PDF file. So everything's here for you guys. Now let me show you. I think I did a video maybe last night on this, showing this AUDNZD trade. This was a very good trade. I wasn't able to take this trade. I missed taking it, but this was a very good trade. And I'm going to show you how this set up. I'm going to show you again because I just want to show you some training points again. And I'm also going to show you the GBPJPY trade again, and probably NZDJPY and USDJPY also. Now, all these pairs made pretty significant moves based on the news that came out, right? Primarily the tariffs, with Donald Trump announcing the tariffs the other day at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And a lot of this has carried the market, but I'm going to show you how these trades panned out with that. Because remember, we're taking these trades on higher time frame. So we don't worry so much about the news. We won't want to take any trades 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after, right? That 1-hour period there. We wouldn't want to get into any new trades during the time when news is coming out. And we also don't like to look at setups from obviously, really, really large candles that were created by news. Okay. Now, if these candles, happen after we're already in the trade, that's a different story. But you have to kind of be careful when you're using these crazy looking candles that come out during news events to actually mark up your zones and stuff like that. So anyway, here we're going back. We know the strategy. Price here is below our 800 EMA, which is the dark blue. The 50 EMA, which is aqua, is below the 200 EMA, which is gray. So this is all in the PDF file. So if you need that PDF file, there'll be a link in the description area of this video. So at the time here, we're bearish. We have a zone right here. The indicator is giving us a couple zones. This is the closest one right here. So let's just mark this up. And then let's shut the indicator off so that we only see that highlighted zone right there that we made, right? So we want to play this forward and we want to wait for price to come back to our zone. That's when our alert will go off. And boom, right there, it comes back into our zone. And I'm very slow shutting this thing off, guys. I guess maybe I have to adjust it back down to 1 so that I can shut it off once it hits the area here, okay? And then I could speed it up later on if we're trying to show you the trade, right? So maybe that's a teaching point for me, right? Because I'm not really good at using this replay mode but I kind of want to show you what I'm looking at the time of the trade going off. Again, I'm not giving any signals here, guys. This is all after the fact. These are all after the fact, after the trade has happened. I'm just showing you what it looked like so you can learn the strategy and get some tips and insight into it. Okay, now we're going to drop down to the 1 hour, and we want to wait for what we call a sell shift. That's the first signal we want to wait for. And we've already gotten it here because I was too slow shutting off the replay, right? So that sell shift occurred here on the 1 hour time frame when the yellow EMA, which is the 5, crossed and closed below the red EMA, which is the 13. Again, all this stuff's in the PDF file, guys. So anyway, once that happens, that's your first signal that you could be able to take a trade. You want to wait for price to continue in the direction it's moving. And then once it starts to pull back, that's kind of where you want to drop down to the 30-minute. Okay, this is the new part of the strategy. Okay, instead of waiting for a change of character on the 1 hour, which sometimes takes a long time to develop, right? And you've missed the trade lots of times. We're going to first wait for that shift, that buy or sell shift. We're going to drop down to the 30-minute, and we're going to see here that the indicator, right, is clearly showing us a change of character right to there. So there's the change of character on the 30-minute. So we got the sell shift on the 1 hour. It gets confirmed on the 30-minute by getting the change of character. And that tells us now that it's safe for us to draw that fib zone from that high right there down to that low. Okay, and you can see the prices already come back to the 61.8, which is one of our possible entry points. You have to remember your invalidation zone always has to go at the top of the 4 hour for the sales. Okay, and then of course the bottom of the 4 hour for buys, right? So, you know, some people will teach you to use this 1 hour high right here as your invalidation zone or your stop loss, so to speak. But a lot of times that gets taken out and you'll lose the trade. Now, if it goes all the way through the 4 hour zone, then that's fine. We lose the trade. We're just wrong. Okay, so now we want to mark this up. We go back to the 4 hour. We just want to check and see because we know we want to take profit to be at the next 4 hour demand zone, which is right down here. So if we set this trade up at the 71, okay, we know that our invalidation zone has to go at the top of the 4 hour zone, not this 1 hour high here. And our take profit would be at the beginning of the next 4 hour demand zone. We only have a 1.33 risk to reward. That's no good. Okay. So that's at the 71. So we can adjust this now because if we go back down to the 30-minute, we're going to see a refined 30-minute zone right here. You can see that highlighted area right inside of here. And so if we would adjust our entry all the way back to there, right? And this is how, let's just go back to the 1 hour here. That would give us a 1 to 2.55. So we can actually move this a little bit closer because we only need a 1 to 2. Okay, so right there, we got about a 1 to 2, right? So let's see what happens. Our entry now is going to be up here, right? And then let's just play this forward and see what happens. Now I got it really moving slow here for you guys. So you can see right here, price goes up into, and we get entered into the trade, right? And look what happens. Look how it takes out that 1 hour high right there. It takes that out. So you would have lost the trade if you would have used that. A lot of people teach you to use these 1 hour and 30-minute refine zones for your invalidation or your stop loss. And you can't really do that, guys, because they get taken out a lot of the time. And this trade is still valid until that 4 hour is taken out. So notice how you're not out of the trade, you're still in the trade, right? And now let's just move this a little bit faster here just to show you what happens. You're in the trade here. Speed it up here, price is moving down. And you hit your take profit right there. And then price just keeps going. Okay. And a lot of this had to do with news, economic stuff, but you got your 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio trade on AUDNZD, and that's really all you're worried about, right? Okay, now this is GBPJPY. This one did some really crazy stuff during news. But let me show you what this looked like here. So we could see where the bias on the 4 hour is bullish, right? Based on the moving averages. We have this 4 hour zone right here that we're going to highlight. Okay. But the indicator is also giving us a bunch of other 4 hour zones as well down below it. So let's just highlight this one here as well, because this is a good teaching moment for us here. And so let's just see what happens as price moves down into this first zone here, right? Okay, price moves down into that zone, right? So we would drop down to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, let's turn this indicator off for a second. We have this 4 hour zone, right? That price has already gone through, and now we have another zone right below it. Okay, now we're looking for that buy shift. We're looking for that yellow EMA to cross and close above the red. That's our first sign that we might be able to take a trade. Well, it goes right through the first zone, right? Okay, and so you get a close below the zone, but the next candle closes, back above inside the zone. Okay, and then now you get another couple closes outside that zone, so you know that that zone is toast, right? We know that we don't want to trade this zone here, right? We already know that. Now price has moved into the next zone, okay? And let's just see what happens here. So it moves into the next zone. And now we're waiting for that buy shift. We're waiting for that yellow to cross above, and there, right there, it does cross above. Then it goes right back down below. So let's just see here. Now we get that impulsive cross up, right? And so now we have the buy shift. So we want to drop down to the 30-minute to see if we got a change of character. We don't want to wait for the change of character on the 1 hour. It's taking too long, right? So on the 30-minute, we see, oh, look, we did get a change of character here, right? The indicator is telling us that we got this change of character here. I don't really like it, but there's another area right here that also gets broken. So that makes me feel a little bit better. Okay, so now I would want to look at this and I could say, okay, let me go back to the 1 hour, right? And let me wait for this to retrace before I draw my fib zone. Okay, so it's starting to retrace right there. So now I can draw my fib zone from this low to where the current high is, right? And that tells me I have to wait, right? Okay, now what I want to do is I want to find out where would my take profit be. So I have to go back to the 4 hour. I have to turn on the indicator, and we see that our next 4 hour supply zone is up here. Okay, so if we decide to take this trade at the 61.8, right? And we put our take profit there, and if we covered this lower zone here, that gives us a 1 to 8.8 risk to reward. So that's no good. So that tells us we have to lower this down to the 71, and that gives us a 2.22. Okay. Now we can go back to the 1 hour. We can shut these the indicator off here so we don't see all these zones. And we can wait for price to come back to the 71 to see if we can get into this trade. Okay, right in there, right there, you get the couple candles there. They come back down into the 71, and now we are in this trade. So now we can just, if we could speed this up a little bit, just to see what happens. So price goes lower. See how it goes lower? And it does not go through our invalidation area here because we're covering the bottom of that zone. Okay. Had we not covered the bottom of that zone, we probably would have got stopped out. Had we used the 1 hour low here, we would have definitely gotten stopped out, right? You can't use it. That's my teaching point for you today. If you're going to identify your supply and demand zones on the 4 hour time frame, then you have to use those same supply and demand zones for your invalidation level, because you'll get stopped out time and time again if you don't. Okay, so now let's see what happens here. Price moves up. You're going to see this crazy candle at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and there it is. You got this crazy wick here. You see this? It went up and it took us out at our goal, right? So we got our 2.22 risk to reward ratio on this trade. It's a winning trade. And then, of course, price just went crazy to the downside, right? Just like most of the other JPY pairs did. And it just went crazy to the downside. But because we targeted that first 4 hour supply zone for our goal or our take profit, we were able to get out of that trade. Okay, so that's GBPJPY. Okay, I'm on NZDJPY now. And again, on the 4 hour time frame, we're identifying the trend bias. It's obviously bearish, right, based on the moving averages and the rules that we use. So if we turn our indicator on, right, we have this zone right here. We have two zones. Let's just highlight, we'll highlight this zone here, and let's also highlight this zone right here. Okay, and so now we're on the 4 hour time frame. Let's just see what happens as the price moves back to those 4 hour supply zones. Okay, boom, moves right back to it, right? Now, again, we're a little bit late. We're a little bit late, right? That's the supply zone right there. We have one up above it. So we're waiting for what? We're waiting for that sell shift on the 1 hour time frame. And you could see the yellow crosses and closes below the red, which gives us the sell shift. Now we want to go to the 30-minute and see, did we get a change of character? Okay, there is no change of character yet, right? So let's go back to the 1 hour and let's see what happens here with this one. Let's slow this down. So you can see how price moves up. And then it moves lower right there. Okay, so now we're going to drop back down to the 30-minute. And now we do have a change of character. See that? So now our sell shift on the 1 hour is confirmed as valid, right? A valid market shift, because we have a change of character on the 30-minute. So again, if we go back to the 1 hour, now we can draw our fib, right? This has already started pulling back, so we could technically draw our fib from here down to here, right? And again, we're on the 1 hour. Now here's our zone. So our invalidation level's up here at the top of this zone, right? That's where it has to be. Not at this 1 hour high. It has to stay at the top of that 4 hour zone, right? Now, let's go back to the 4 hour. Let's turn the indicator on, see where is our next zone, next demand zone. It's all the way down here, see? Okay, so what that tells us is let's say we wanted to get in this trade at the 61.8, right? Our stop loss goes there. Wow, our zone is all the way down here, right? So this could give us a 1 to 4.96 to risk the reward on this trade, right? And that's just at the 61.8. So let's see what happens here. Okay. See right there? Price gets us into the trade at 61.8, and then it takes off right to the downside. Okay, comes back, and then boom, goes right through our take profit. So I want you to look at that closely because price really goes right to the pip, right? It hit our 61.8 kind of right to the pip. Okay, it took off down, it came back up, hit our 61.8, got us in the trade, and then went right down, pulled back again, and then went straight down through and just fell apart here. Like I said, because the news just tore everything up here, guys. I think I got one more to show you. Hold on one second here. Let me just show you one more. It was USDJPY. Um, and so again, on the 4 hour time frame, looks like I didn't quite go back far enough, huh? Sorry about that, guys. I got this kind of screwed up here. This is let's see here. Okay, guys, this trade here, I'm gonna take it back a little bit further than before I got in it, just to show you something here. So here we are. This is USDJPY 4 hour chart. Obviously, look at the moving averages. The 4 hour trend bias is bearish, right? Price is below the 800 and the 50 is below the 200. And you could tell that by looking at the chart as well if you scroll back, right? But we're using the moving averages to make it damn near 100% objective, right? So there's no room for subjectivity, right? The only subjectivity really comes into the 1 hour time frame when you're taking a trade, right? So you see here our price moves into our zone. So let me just highlight this zone here. That's the first zone. And then there's another zone up above it. And I think I got in this trade from the second zone. I could be wrong, but we're going to play this forward, see what happens. We go to the 1 hour, and what do we see? We see right here that we got a sell shift telling us that we may be able to draw our fib. But when we drop down to the 30-minute time frame, we don't have a change of character. See how the indicator is not showing us a change of character, and we don't have a structure level being broken to the downside. Okay, so we have the sell shift on the 1 hour, but it's not accompanied by the change of character on the 30-minute. So we don't want to do anything with this pair right now. We want to see what's going to happen. And what happens is price then takes a move to the downside, right? And so now if we go to the 30-minute, we do have that change of character, right? So now we go back to the 4 hour, we look at this, okay? And what we're going to see is we're going to be able to draw our fib. We want to drop down to the 1 hour here. Let's just see if price starts to retrace here. Okay, so prices, you can see how it's retracing. So on the 1 hour, if we were to draw our fib from here to here, right? That's our low. We go back to the 4 hour. Where is our 4 hour demand? It's right down here, right? So if we would take this trade, let's set it up at the 61 first. Our invalidation zone's at the top of that first 4 hour zone. Our take profits down here, that's a 1 to 1.91. That's no good. So let's move that up to the 71, and that gives us a much better trade, right? It's either the 61.8 or the 71, right? And then if you still can't get a 1 to 2, then you can check to see if you're looking and see where your 30-minute refine zone is at. And if you have one there, which you should have if you got the change of character on the 30-minute, then you can adjust it up to that zone to get you a 1 to 2. But here we're good right here. Okay, so let's turn off all these other zones here, except the ones that we highlighted. Let's see if price comes back here to the 71, or if we maybe already took this trade. I'm not exactly sure. So we're gonna see this together here, right? So boom, we could see that right there, price does come back up to the 71, right? It makes a move down, then it goes higher, but our invalidation zone is up there, right? So, oh, and then it goes right up into the next zone. Before it decides to come down. Okay. So you could see all that would happen. Now, what happened was I took the trade in this area here. So I'm going to show you this here. If we go to Trade Locker, okay, you can see Trade Locker will show you where I got in the trade and where I got out. So you can see here, I got in the trade right here. Okay, so this was on the 26th at midnight. Okay, so 26th at midnight. Put that one time. That's March 26th at midnight. So this is basically where I got in this trade, right around here. And again, I was using this 4 hour zone up here, and you can see price doesn't go through it. You can see that as well right here on Trade Locker, and then price goes right down through. Now, let me just show you from last week, guys, just so you know that I'm not full of shit here. This is the trades from this week. Okay. And this week we had 4 trades, right? I didn't get a chance to show you this one loss here. This was in NZD CAD. And then we were able to get a small profit in USDJPY. We got a 1% profit about in NZDJPY. And then we got a full 2% profit in GBPJPY. So that's our total profit for the week. Okay. 3 winning trades, 1 losing trades, but we did get out of 2 of our 3 winning trades too early. Had we stayed in them, they would have both went to full goals, full take profit. Okay, so guys, I hope this helps you. Like I said, I struggle a little bit, and I didn't really show you that USDJPY trade effectively, but this is what it looked like here in Trade Locker. And you could see here that price came down, and had I been watching the charts, guys, and again, I'm at the restaurant, But had I been watching the charts, actually, this was like at 3 a.m., so I couldn't see that. I was asleep. I would have gotten out when price got right down to my take profit, right? I would have just gotten out of the trade. Now, I didn't do that when I got up, and then eventually I got out of the trade right here because I thought it was going to go back to break even. And then it ended up going back down, coming back up, and then dropping, you know, dropping straight down. So I could have got the full 2.29% on that one. And then, of course, the other one was NZDJPY, right? And I could have gotten the full 2.43% on this one, but I got out right here. Okay. So Bill Soriano from Pittsburgh again. Make sure you download this free PDF file right here, damn near 100% objective 4-hour supply and demand zone trade plan. Sorry, this video went too long here. I struggled a little bit, but have a great weekend, guys.